press release, actually. Watch.
Россию обвиняют в нападении военной агрессии, несмотря на то, что на Донбассе уже 8 лет не прекращается кровопролитие.
Россию обвиняют в нападении военной агрессии, закрыв глаза на то, что в Донбассе уже...
Наш народ на Донбассе подвергается геноциду и обстрелам на протяжении 8 лет.
In 2016, when Russia invaded Ukraine, and then in 2016, when they, of course, hacked our election here, we did not do that, right? We did not declassify information.
But Biden couldn't even convince all the young kids to sell his lives. Watching the Biden White House. For the last year, the Biden administration has been using idiotic TikTok videos to push, for instance, vaccinations on kids.
Bing bong. Are you vaccinated? Yes, sir. Hey, yep.
Do we get it?
We got it.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and this is a day in my life as a White House intern.
We've come a long way in our fight against
this government controls a large stake of the company. Even Biden's propaganda is made in China. But maybe the reason Biden's turning to teenagers to push his little propaganda is because the mainstream media won't do it for him that much anymore. Remember Nancy Pelosi told the press they needed to do a better job of selling the Democrats' agenda at the end of last year? Well, clearly they didn't listen. Hosts aren't falling in line like they used to anymore. Why?
I think DOJ, in the same way that it is setting up a task force to investigate oligarchs, should look into people who are Russian propagandists and shilling for Putin. That's being, if you are a foreign asset to a dictator, it should be investigated.
They used to arrest people for doing stuff like this.
Every American should be wondering why our White House and our Democratic Party seem to be mimicking Putin's propaganda style and seeking out ways to silence free speech. What exactly are they afraid of?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Joe's inviting teenagers over for a little propaganda party. See, kids are very easy to manipulate, and Biden knows that. So instead of fixing problems, Biden just gets puppets to point fingers. TikTok is full of kids making stupid videos, swallowing Tide Pods, putting a penny in an electric socket, and just lighting stuff on fire, or just dancing. I'm a dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17. Things have gotten pretty bad politically for Joe Biden since then, if you can imagine. So he asked actual teenagers for help. That's right. He invited 30 TikTok stars to a Zoom call for a briefing on the war in Ukraine. Well, the real goal was to push partisan government propaganda, and the kids actually did it.
We are seeing the United States sanctions on Russia work. Russia's economy is in free fall. The ruble is at its lowest point.
A no-fly zone is more equivalent to boots-on-the-ground military action. This type of action would escalate the war further and cause far more damage.
Russia is one of the top 3 producers of oil. With Putin starting this horrific fight between Ukraine and Russia, nobody wants to work with him and do international trade. So with people being scared of war and limited resources, prices are bound to go up as well.
Instead, they're both running into some problems at home. And both men are using similar tactics to hide the truth. We expect that from the Russian president, not our president. Let's start in Russia. Putin can't keep a lid on reality during a war. This is 2022. The dam's cracking. Check out this news editor who crashed a live broadcast to let the Russian people know what's been going on. More on this in a moment. But Putin's run into resistance everywhere, so he's cranking up the propaganda to levels we haven't seen since 2014. When he invaded Crimea, Putinkinis started popping up all over the beaches. Russian women were seen sporting Putin bikinis to push patriotism and show support for Russia's interests. And now Putin's looking for new sources of disinformation. Russia is paying, and that officials dodged hard questions. Felt like a press briefing for kindergartners. And speaking of kindergartners, this White House has a history of using them.
My mom was a scientist, and I just love the idea of exploring the unknown. And then there's other things that we just haven't figured out or discovered yet. Wait till you guys see the moon. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is about those craters on the moon.
Those were child actors from Canada. Again, not even Biden's propaganda is made in America. Even Saturday Night Live dunked on Biden's latest stunt.
Thank you all so much for coming and answering your nation's call in a time of need.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Hey, no problem.
I'm 12.
I also want to thank my press secretary, Jen Psaki, for having the vision to set this up.
I suggested it as a joke, and then it actually happened.
People are saying this is the first war fought on TikTok, which is tough for me because I'm the landline of presidents.
But the sad reality is this isn't funny, it's insulting. Also, the similarities between American left-wing ideology and Russian statism is pretty striking. We showed you this video before, Russia arresting people in the media for speaking out against the Kremlin now. Vlad created a law to ban people from spreading what he calls fake news. Does that sound familiar? Democrats in the media have spent the last 2 years advocating for that. They've been consistently trying to silence conservatives and call anything they don't like misinformation. The liberal media has been calling for a silencing of Fox since Russia invaded Ukraine. Because apparently if you ask questions and raise issues outside the mainstream, it must mean that you're the enemy of the state. They're now even calling for the Justice Department to go after Tucker and Tulsi Gabbard and shut them up.
What Tucker Carlson